We have 11 states that are going to poll today, and around 3 union territories will be going to polls today. Akshata, prominent among them, we have all the 20 seats from Kerala going to polls. We have Delhi, the national capital region, also going to poll. We have Haryana going to polls. We have Chandigarh going to polls, and we have parts of Odisha, parts of Jharkhand, parts of Bihar also going for polls, and parts of Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, and the Vidarbha region of Maharashtra is also going to polls today. And in fact, these are some of those key places where issues of farmers are quite important. Even strangely, in Kerala also there has been an issue of hill farmers who might lose their livelihood because of the Kasturi Rangan report. But also in Vidarbha region, it is very interesting to know that there has been farmers who are now putting that forward plan based on the development for Vidarbha, as well as water resources that can be allocated to that region, because it's a very parched region. Even in Odisha, there is a huge question mark over the whether industrial land can be leased. Agricultural land can be leased for industrial purposes, and over there also we are looking at a farmer revolt. So these are places where we have to see how the farming community is actually, which holds a very good influence in all these places, are going to influence the electoral fortunes of the parties in these areas, Akshata.
Right, Varghese. So we'll come back to you there for more information. But of course, many constituencies to watch out for. But the one place in Delhi that everyone is going to be scrutinizing very carefully is the Chandni Chowk constituency, which is of course dominated by Muslims, and Baniyaz is witnessing a triangular contest. Union Minister Kapil Sibal is seeking to score a hat-trick of victories, but is facing a stiff challenge in his endeavour from Delhi BJP chief Harshvardhan and journalist turned politician Ashutosh, who has been put up by the AAP. Arvind Kejriwal's party is hoping to sustain the momentum gained in the assembly polls held in December, when it bagged 4 of the 10 assembly segments. Well, coming back to Varghese, talking about the Chandni Chowk constituency, of course, Kapil Sibal has reigned supreme in this particular constituency. But this time around, that may not be the case, considering not just the AAP wave, considering Ashutosh, but also Dr. Harshvardhan, who is, of course, such a symbolic person for the BJP and has created quite a name for himself in Delhi as well.
It is a very interesting constituency, Arshila, and as you rightly pointed out, it is going to be a very tough fight. And BJP face, Harshvardhan, is there, the person who almost got the party to power in Congress. If it wasn't for the AAP factor, in fact, the BJP would have been there. But we should also understand that it is going to be a tough fight, because even for Harshvardhan, he has to make a lot of sureties he have to get from, especially from the ward-wise voters, where they have been strictly asking for issues with regards to municipal infrastructure, and in fact for soaps from the Delhi government, and for a lot of infrastructure development within backward areas in those regions. But again, it's an area with a sizable minority votes. So how does Harshvardhan be able to in fact tap into that minority votes will be very interesting to note. But again, if you look at Ashutosh, who's also claimed that there is no Modi wave in the area, has to have a tough fight with Kapil Sibal, because Kapil Sibal is a person who's entrenched there, and he's trying to make a third-time victory from that place, because he knows the calculations, he knows the ground realities over there, what is required, and he's also been interacting with that constituency for the past 15 years. So there is a lot of effort on Kapil Sibal and the Congress's part to ensure that there's a hat-trick win. And but again, as I said, a lot of things have happened after the assembly elections, and there are a lot of factors that could have changed on the ground, which might not be very perceptible to any of the candidates or even for analysts as much. So only once the results come in and the voting share and the populations of how they voted within that Chandni Chowk constituency comes into foray, will we actually come to know how the trend has worked, how the undercurrent has worked in that place, Akshita.
Right, Varghese, we will come back to you there, but we're looking at 11 crore voters going ahead and exercising their right today. The third phase of polling, and one of the most important to say in the list. This is definitely one of the biggest fights that we will be witnessing, considering that we're looking at 11 states, 3 union territories, and in all these places are crucial in one way or the other for every political party involved.
सुबह से बुला गए हैं आप आज वोट करने के लिए पहली कतार में आप लगी नहीं थी, क्या ध्यान में क्या था कि
The polling has now begun in all these states. Of course, several people have already turned up. It begins usually at 7 in the morning.
हर चीज देखी जाती है वोट करने से पहले, हम नहीं पूछेंगे किसको किया किसको नहीं, लेकिन सवाल है कि क्या मन में किस चीज को लेकर आप आए थे कि आने वाले दिन में क्या बेहतर हो?
भाई साहब, इस बार भ्रष्टाचार के खिलाफ वोटिंग करना है, इसलिए जल्दी आगे वोट डालना, फिर भीड़ हो जाती है। चलो।
हेलो।
Polling has begun in 11 states and 3 union territories as part of the third phase of polling. As it is now, what you're looking at is visuals from Jagdalpur, where in fact several people have come together to vote.
महंगाई जो है कि थोड़ा कम है और जो है कि
Well, the voting there began at about 7 in the morning across all the 11 states, and 11 crore voters are going to be going ahead and exercising their right today. Of course, security is another issue. While several officials have been deployed in different regions, we are looking at sensitive areas like Bihar, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, which of course faces the Maoist threat, also going into polls. So keeping that in mind, the Election Commission has ensured that enough steps are taken to ensure that there is a safe polling being conducted across the country. RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat there going ahead and casting his vote in Nagpur. So early start for him as well. Remember, polling begins at about 7 in the morning, and already we see that several people have come together to go ahead and cast their vote. RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat there in Nagpur going ahead and using his constitutional right to go ahead and vote for the party of his desire. No points for guessing exactly which party he will be voting for, but it looks like it's an early starter for some of these leaders. But as you can see, several women are also gathering there to go ahead and cast their vote. 7 o'clock is when we saw the voting begin, and already huge numbers turning up. Definitely very, very positive news there. Going by what we're looking at, that we could be seeing a lot of people turning up to go ahead and exercise their right. In fact, in Chhattisgarh, which is of course one of those Naxal affected areas, already a huge number of people coming together, and of course this is a very, very positive sign, keeping in mind that it is still only about 20 minutes into voting, and we're already looking at a huge number of people turning up to go ahead and cast their vote. Once again joined in by my colleague Burgis. More than anything else, we're looking at some states such as Chhattisgarh, of course, which are Naxal affected areas. Even early this morning we did get news of a landmine blast in Munger district of Bihar. So definitely the EC taking all this into consideration to ensure that there's safe polling in these particular Naxal affected areas, and will ensure that there is adequate security. If you could take us through some of the arrangements in these Naxal affected areas.
Well, Akshita, what we know at present is that the EC has in fact taken seriously about polling in Naxal-affected areas, especially southern Chhattisgarh, southern Bihar and northern Jharkhand. These areas are known for having a problem with the Maoist outfits, and they have been in fact threatening people from actually going out and from exercising their franchisee, because they consider these areas to be liberated zones. But anyway, the EC has ensured that there are huge security cordons that have been put into place, though Today we have a news about in Munger, where in the Munger district we have a landmine blast that has killed around 5 Jawans. But anyway, the CRPF have put in place an elaborate security system, and the EC has ensured that it has happened. But the encouraging factor remains that even in spite of the Naxalite threat, there are a lot of people in fact coming out in large numbers and voting early in the morning itself. Probably this could also be because the afternoon heat, they want to escape from the afternoon summer heat, so exercising the franchisee in the morning is much easier. And probably we might also look at an increase in numbers once it turns down to towards the evening, around from 4 to around 6. We might in fact find a larger number also coming out. But it looks like the morning is going to be quite interesting.
Right,
because
right, okay, so we'll come back to you there. Let's listen to what Mr. Bhagwat had to say.
चुनाव लोकतंत्र की हर 5 साल बाद होने वाली प्रक्रिया है और हर चुनाव हर एक को ऐतिहासिक लगता है। ये नित्य नागरिक कर्तव्य है।
इस चुनाव की बात करें तो क्या ऐतिहासिक और काफी समीकरण है?
कुछ नहीं, चुनाव
मोहन जी आपसे सिर्फ जानना चाहेंगे, जिस तरीके से बयानबाजी हो रही है, जो लहजा गिरा है इस बार चुनाव के मौके पर, आप कैसे देखते हैं कि इस तरह से बयानबाजी होनी चाहिए? सांप्रदायिक
ऐसा है, हम मतदान केंद्र में खड़े हैं तो यहाँ केवल मतदान करना और वापस जाना, बाकी नहीं।
अच्छा, मोदी जी की लहर है
वो मुझे पता नहीं।
आपको क्या लगता है?
यहाँ करने की बात है नहीं।